Hello and welcome to Grace Lutheran Church Sermon Podcasts. On this podcast, you will hear the latest sermons taken from our weekly worship service. Our hope is that you will find joy and comfort in knowing the forgiveness of God through Jesus Christ. We don't sing the Amen too much anymore, do we? I've retitled this sermon. In the bulletin, you have I've got the power. I've retitled it King of the Hill because the passage has kind of made me think. When I was a kid, I used to play King of the Hill. Did you ever play King of the Hill? Do you remember the game? Not the Fox TV cartoon program. We used to play it on the monkey bars at recess at school, or climbing to the top of a freshly plowed mound of snow in the bank parking lot at the end of my block, which could get up to 15 feet tall. The rules were, first one who pushed and shoved their way to the top was King of the Hill. But the game didn't end there. It continued because the king had to show his or her dominance by pushing off all the pretenders to the crown. It was a show of strength and power. Well, that's when we were children, right? Wrong. Most children's games reflect on and prepare us for life in the real world. You all know it's a dog-eat-dog world on Wall Street. But you too compete for position. The favorite grandma or the favorite grandpa. In school, there was the prom king and the queen competing to reach the top. You may have competed for professorships at universities. You vie for position when the old employee retires and there's an opening in the front office. And of course, in a presidential election year, all candidates want to push the others off to become, that's right, King of Capitol Hill. Remember Charles Darwin? He gave our world another term that means King of the Hill. Darwin applied popular economic theory of his time to explain how animals lived and survived. He called it survival of the fittest. That is, an inborn, natural drive in all of life to select whatever means possible to be put on top. In other words, might makes right. This caught on quick in the academic world as a major shift in the way we understand human behavior, economics, history, biological mutations. Within a decade, Darwin's theory became the Frontenists' paramount paradigm of intellectual puffery that shaped the Western world for a century. No matter what you may think of Darwin, his observation of our human and creaturely nature to be king of the hill is in our very blood. The creatures, us, rule of survival in this world is might makes right. Okay, Pastor, what in the hell are you talking about? I'm saying that individually and also in society, all people, we can't help but play king of the hill. It's in our flawed DNA. It reveals our true nature. Someone has to be put on top, and it's gonna be me. In this world, those who are powerful have the authority. We hear it in the race to the top of Capitol Hill in November. This country needs to show its power so other countries will submit to our worldwide authority. In your daily life, you show your power to establish your authority. You might show off your new car. It's kind of passive-aggressive. Might brag about your kids or grandkids in school. Talk about your awards that you've received or your professional degrees, just trying to move up a notch. Yes, in our world, power leads to authority. We confuse power and authority. It's the sign of a broken and fallen creation. Our confusion between power and authority began in the Garden of Eden. God created man and woman to live with him in fellowship. Enter Adam and Eve. But in a short while, exit Adam and Eve. They were tempted to act by their own power, to question God's authority. They revolted against God's authority by their own power. They didn't abuse their power. They revolted against and abused God's authority. They used their rebellious power to claim authority over God and became, you got it, king of the hill. Or so they imagined. But even before that, before creation, God had created an angel to be one of his servants as an extension of his authority. But this angel revolted against God's authority. And with a host of angels following, Satan revolted against God to overthrow his authority. He abused God's authority and by his own power wanted to be king of the hill, the authority to rule by power. And this war is still going on. This defines our brokenness. This defines sin. That you, by your power, your actions, abuse God's authority. That's what sin is. Because as you can see, the word authority contains the word author. A book is written by an author, and the creation of that book is an extension of the author's authority. The editor, God bless them, tries to exert authority and change parts of the book only under the authority given them by the author. God is the author of all that exists, all of life. He authored people. He authored you. He authored me. And from that authority, creation came about. The power to create flowed from his authority, who he is. Enter the editor, the snake, Satan, who changes the plot by his power, but does not have the authority. And unfortunately, the readers, Adam, Eve, you and me, are held captive to this editor. Satan wants to take creation away from the creator, the book of life away from the author, and believes he has taken the hill. But for God, there is no competition, nobody to push off. He alone holds the field. He alone is king. He is king of the hill, not because of his power to push everyone off and claim the authority. He is king of the hill because he made the hill. Isaiah 45 says, "Turn to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is no other." Everything that was invented or thought of as God is not God. Usurping and trying to claim the authority of God. There is no other. So who's right? All authority in this world, it is an extension of God's authority, meant to preserve peace among the broken creatures. So this is what Paul means when he writes to the Romans in chapter 13, "Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except by God." Any authority, presidents to kings who rule nations, police in neighborhoods, parents in homes have no authority of their own. In this world, governance is the extension of God's authority. Now, what went wrong? Yet we all confuse power with authority. We show it when we say, the police are abusing their power. Government, police, parents are not abusing their power. We abuse God's authority. When you say, I can do whatever I want, it's a free society, it's a free country, you revolt against God's authority and claim your own by your own power. So it is that the words you say, the things you do, reveal who your author is. You, because you're captive to the editor, don't follow the author's plot. You change it by the temptations to edit by your own power. Now, as we noted last week, Mark's gospel is written to Romans and Gentiles who have confused power and authority. They are a conquering nation, and they have powerful military. They crown themselves as the author of social order because of their power. Mark invites them to question their power and their man-made authority throughout his gospel. We read in our gospel for today that Jesus went into synagogues and began to teach. The people are amazed, and they say, he teaches with such authority, not like the experts in the law. You can answer this question now. Why does he teach with such authority? Because Jesus is the author of creation, the words of the prophets, the voice of God. His words are power that flows from his authority. Well, moments later, Jesus casts out a demon, saying, "Silence, come out of him." The demon comes out, and once again, Mark calls the attention of the Gentile Roman readers to ask that question that is murmured by the townspeople. What is this? A new teaching with authority? Demonic spirits obey him. Why? Because he is the author, the creator, and his power shows that. Then Jesus goes off into the region, which is a Gentile region, not a Jewish region, of the Gerasenes, where we find a demon-possessed man. The demons identify themselves as legion, meaning many, a whole military company. And Jesus sends them into a herd of pigs, which then run over a cliff and kill themselves. Now, we see the images, we've heard the stories before, but look beyond the miracle. Look beyond the obvious power that Jesus had. Look at his authority before you see his power. He casts out the demons not because of a magical power. He casts out demons because of his authority. He is the Son of God and has his Father's full authority. All authority is given the Son. The gospel writer John explains. He has authority over the water when Peter walks on it. When there's a storm, he calms the waves. He has authority over the forgiveness of sins, and the paralytic picks up his mat and walks. He has authority over the fish in the Sea of Galilee, we saw last week. Jesus has not come to win a popularity contest by a display of his power. Healing the sick or forgiving sins or raising people from the dead. No, Jesus has come to recreate the broken creation because he has the authority to do so. John writes that in the beginning was the Word, and this Word has created everything that is created, that has given life to all. This Word has come into the world. First verses of John. And whereas this Word once created life in the Garden of Eden, which strayed and became broken beyond human repair and was accursed, this Word now stands before a demon-possessed man to restore him and create him anew what was destroyed by the pretendant to the throne of God. Jesus creates new life where there was pain. He creates new life where there was slavery, bound by chains. Why? Because he is the author of life, the only one whose essence is authority. Take note of this authority as the demons speak to Jesus. "Leave me alone, Son of the Most High God. I implore you, do not torment me." Where's their power now? They fear Jesus' authority of restoring God's creation because it means their power is finished. Then the demonic spirits beg Jesus, "Send us into the pigs. Let us enter them." They can't do it themselves. Jesus gives permission as having all authority. They have no power before Jesus' authority. They must ask permission to enter the pigs. Their power is only destruction, and they want to rule only through their destructive power. These demons have only one authority, and that's Satan. And the demons have only one power, to lie and destroy. Look around you, your world, your life. This physical world is only apparent to your physical eyes. What you cannot see, what I cannot see, is the spiritual war that we have just described between God and Satan in this world. Demons exercise their power to enslave, destroy, cause pain, suffering in the lives of all of God's creation. Can you see this evil in the world around you? Our society relates illness to physical causes. For them, this is no spiritual war. It can all be fixed over time by medicine or government policies. But look at the collateral damage of this war against God. People live tormented by consciences, dementia, schizophrenia. You see people talking to themselves, walking aimlessly, zombies on the street. People live out of control with disregard for life or property. Some people literally cut themselves with knives, glass, commit suicide. Tell me, in what way is this any different than what is going on in our gospel text today? Everything is a broken mess. And though we cry to the governments to fix it, they can't, because it's a spiritual problem, and they want to remain in power besides. Who can cure this and stop this war? What demons are active in tempting you, haunting you? Cancer? Debt? Loneliness? Feelings of depression? Abandonment? Do you cut yourself dwelling on comments others make about you, what they think about you, or because you are hopeless? Do you torture yourself with thoughts that you are failure, you're not good enough, you accomplish nothing? Is your faith challenged by events in your life that you don't understand, causing you doubt or uncertainty? Satan and his demons' only power is to lie and destroy. Plant seeds of subversion to revolt against the loving God who cries to you, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Who can cure you? Isaiah says, "All we like sheep have gone astray. Everyone has gone their own way." Isaiah is saying you have abused God's authority and lived as though you were the author of your own life. That's each and every one of us. And look where it's gotten you. What a book. Who will give you life amid your doubts and questions? Who will remove the shackles that hold you captive to pain and suffering and sorrow? Who will break the chains that keep you revolting against God and others? Who will lead you through the valley of the shadow of death, through the tomb that awaits you? The next verse in Isaiah tells you, "And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted. By oppression and judgment he was removed and cut off from the land of the living, and they made his grave with the wicked." You know, as I read this passage, Isaiah is talking about Jesus. But I can't help but think that Jesus was indeed right in the cave with our demon-possessed brother, suffering his pains. Jesus is bound by this man's shackles and chains. Among the tombs of the wicked he walks. And so he is in your cave, bound by what shackles you, and bound by what holds you captive in chains, what you can't get rid of. But as Jesus breaks the chains and shackles of this man, he breaks them for you. As he delivers this man from the graves that surround him, so he does with you. As he liberates this man from his cave of social isolation to have fellowship and peace once again, so he does to you. Because he is the author of new life. He is the only one who has the authority to do so. John 10, Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, and I lay down my life for my sheep. I lay down my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me. I lay it down of myself. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. To be the author and finisher of your salvation. Jesus carries a cross and climbs to a hill to die, and by his power destroys death, rising to new life. On Calvary, and for all eternity, Jesus is King of the hill. Amen. To know more about Jesus and our ministry at Grace Lutheran Church, please find us at www.gracealoneonline.org. You'll find additional sermon podcasts and your favorite podcast channel every week at www.gracealoneonline.org/sermons.